All right. What is going on today, chat? Let me get this switched over. What is up? My light is not on. I am hiding in the dark. Hold on, chat. I'm broke and I can only afford one USB plug at a time. What is going on? Jersey, thank you for liking the live. What up, brother? There we go. Had to change the layout a little bit. What is going on? Let's see. We got a nice little lineup here to go through. Could put that there. Boom. All right. Well, we're just going to get right into it, chat. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Galaxia Gaming. It's episode 79. Greater than Mike. Don't let Mike catch you saying that. Welcome to Grade Review. I'm your host, Galaxia Gaming, and we're going to be looking at some cards today. Nope. You changed yourself. You changed your name, Mike? Now how am I supposed to know who you are? You threw a whole cog in the mix. Tisk, Mike. Tisk, throwing me for a loop. Well, welcome, guys. My name is Galaxia Gaming, and we're going to be looking at some Pokemon cards today. And I also have... Yeah, right. I have to wait. Look at what I got gifted today. I got gifted some Japanese packs. Wow. So I'll probably open those up on stream today. You guys can see how bad my luck is. Can't wait, chat. So welcome, guys. My name is Galaxy Gaming, and I am going to be doing some pre-grading. So what you're going to see is everything that I use when I grade my cards. I have a pretty good success rate, as well as some other people who have been using the service for quite some time. So we're going to jump right into it. So first up, Betty, look. I don't know if you just saw, but look what I got. Look what I got gifted. Wow. We're going to open up these probably in some intermissions. We're going to see how good my luck is. I got gifted these packs. So we're going to be opening up some packs today too. Wow. I know. So let us look at... So first up is Mike, a.k.a. now Jersey Shore, TCG. So we're going to be going through the whole process. So if anyone has any questions, just let me know. Because we're going to dive deep into... So everything I'm going to be talking about is going to be primarily PSA specific. But they can apply to everything, like everything that I talk about with centering, corners, edges, surface, all that fun stuff can kind of cross over to any grading company you choose, BGS, CGC, whatever. So, Slowpoke and Psyduck. Any Slowpoke or Psyduck fans in the chat? Psyduck is a very popular Pokemon, so I'm sure there's got to be at least one. So let's look. So the tools that I'm going to be using today, chat, is the great and powerful snipping tool. All hail the snipping tool. So we're going to be using that today. Yo, George, what's going on, man? So the snipping of the tools, chat. The snipping of the tools. We're going to be using this today. Good. I do too. The headache's Psyduck. So, first we're going to check the centering. So how we measure centering, chat, is the left and the right border. So far it's looking good. Not too worried about that. Top looks good. That bottom looks good. It's a little bit curved, but that's okay. We should be fine. Besides that, front looks great. Corners look good. Normally I like to kind of look, in this corner right there. That looks good. Top left corner looks good. Making my job easy. Bottom left looks good. Bottom right looks good. We're good, chat. The front looks great. Now, let's see some other angles. So we have this angle right here. Looks good. That left edge left edge? It's left edge. Our perception of the right. Looks good. This side also looks good. So far, so good. Now, let's flip it over. So, let us take another screenshot of the back. so I can highlight a few things that I see right off the bat. So some of you might be kind of seeing this as, Galaxia, you are too picky, my friend. Well, I am going to be picky, all right? I'm going to be picky a little bit because I'm trying to save us money, chat. I'm trying to save you money because when we submit to PSA, we got to pay, right? So I'm trying to do my best to educate as much as I can to show whether a card can be a PSA 10 or not. So especially for Modern, we want to pretty much just stick with PSA 10 as or busts. Save yourself some money, kind of stick with that kind of mentality, if you will. So the first thing that I see, chat, is, and Mike, and you're changing your name. It's going to really throw me off. I'm just going to let you know I'm going to call you Mike the entire time. All right? Don't blame me. Blame yourself. So the first thing that I see, chat, is this, not that, this little, what appears to be a little bit of a dent in that top right-hand corner. So some of you might be asking, Galaxia, why do you think that's a dent? Well, I often use the phrase, let there be light, chat. We have to keep an eye on the shadows and the light source on pictures. This is very helpful if you're buying any cards on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, or anything like that that provides pictures. Always make sure to take advantage of the light source and where they're coming from. So, why I say that? All right, chat. We're gonna get a little nerdy right now. All right, we're gonna get a little nerdy. So, light source is coming in this direction, right? So, hence this very whitened, illuminated section, right? So the first thing I see is what I have circled here. So this dip on this side, and I'll probably use a red mark here to kind of make a line here. So right on the top part of this red line is a bit of a shadow, where, as we see from the other side, it's a little bit lighter in this section. So to me, based off of pictures alone, right? Based off of pictures alone, it appears as though that could be a potential dimple or a potential dent in the back of the card. So, since you already said that you've had this submitted to PSA, if you get anything, I would say, so actually, getting a little ahead of myself. Try, thank you for liking the live. I appreciate you guys for liking the live. So, right side looks good, left side looks good. This most likely is lighting, chat, so we're not really worried about that. Left side looking good, looking fresh. Corner looking good. So pretty much I'm not worried about any of the other card. Maybe here too. Ooh. Maybe right here too, chat. Let me highlight it real quick. So like right here, might be a little fuzzy, might be a little dent. I'm not too sure. But that is something that I probably a little fuzz. That's probably what I'm seeing. Is that scratches on top middle? Let's see, B Tony. Top middle. We also have some other pictures of this same card too that we can definitely look at. But for now, it's really just this little what appears to be a dent. But let's look at those other angles as well. So we got this section. So you're saying top middle. Let's take a look. This one's a little bit too blurry for us to really see. So let's try something different. And I think we have another. That's the Reshiram. So let's take a look and take a screenshot of this one. So you're saying top middle possibly. So top middle, I'm not seeing, you might be seeing something that I'm not. I mean, granted, sometimes the pictures make it a little bit tough, like especially when we're like zooming in really tight. Or the blue border, no worries. So you probably saw that in the first picture. So let's go back to that first picture. Let me get a hair out of my mouth. Shout out to Faye. Let's see. So the scratch in the blue section. Are you talking about more like the left side? Let's see. But you're saying top middle. So maybe these, if this is what you're talking about, which is actually a really good eye, if you are. So right in this section. So that might be. Good eye, Tony. Good eye, Tony. So that might also be, so when we are looking at these scratches, chat, that is potentially going to impact the surface grade. So again, if you can kind of see it online, chances are in PSA's standards and when they receive the card in person, they're probably also going to see something like that as well. But depending on how bad it is, again, the light source is making it a little bit more aggressive or extreme than if you were to probably see it in person. So it can kind of go both ways in this case. But really, the big one that I'm worried about the most is this possible dent in the kind of that right middle side. So for this Slowpoke Psyduck, really the front was flawless. It's really just the back. Really the thing that I have rectangled and the area that I have circled. So minor scratches on this side and a potential little small dent on this side. So we kind of have to go back to the core of grading, right? So is this near mint plus, meaning like 8 or above? You know, I want to say I would love for that to happen, but unfortunately I don't think it would get a near mint plus if those two factors are true. So does it become light play or worse? You know, I think personally light play is a little bit too aggressive, especially if that is a very, very, very small kind of dimple. But if I had this card where it kind of go back and forth between near mint and light play, so it's on that range between a 7 or a 6. 6 might be too aggressive, but to be quite honest with you, this would probably be the first time that it would be that I would actually see something that's just a small dimple like that actually go to PSA. So it'd actually be really interesting if that dimple is there and it comes back. But I would say if it's a dimple, I would probably say that it'd probably lean more towards a 7 because of how small it is. I still think it would be considered near mint in most standards. So more like a PSA 7 if that is a small dent. But if it's not there, meaning that it's just some weird effect or whatever, we're probably leaning more towards that 8 to 9 range, depending on how aggressive those scratches that Tony actually discovered in this section. So as a recap, why I think this Slowpoke Psyduck would get either a 8 or a 7. If the dimple on the back is present, I'm leaning more towards a 7. It's very small in nature, so I don't think it would be too extreme to go down to that 6 range. But if that's not there, then the very minor scratches that we're seeing here might be overexposed due to the nature of the photo, so it might be worse on the photo than it is in person, so we're kind of maybe going towards that like 8 to 9 range. But if it is as bad as you kind of see it, bad is kind of an overstatement. Basically, if it's present as we're seeing now in person, you're probably leaning more towards the 8 in that case. So there's your kind of 2 grades there. So next up for your submission, Mike, is, let's see. So we did the Slowpoke, and now we're going to be doing the Reshiram. But yeah, definitely let me know when that comes back. I'm very curious. If it comes down to if you get a grade that you're like, why did I get that? Definitely check to see if that is a little dent. How can you tell if it's a print line or a scratch? Are print lines perfectly straight? I would say in most cases, Tony, it's easier to go into that saying yes. So they're normally very, very straight, either horizontal or vertical in nature. Or if they're very soft, sometimes like the roller, like how the cards roll off the roller, sometimes might get abrased or roughed in a way that it's very mild in nature. But I wouldn't really call that more of like a print line. It'd be more of just like generic, very minimal like roller wear, if that makes sense. That's the best way I can explain it. Saber Wars, who is your favorite grading company? So since I do this as a side business, the best return on your investment from a grading perspective, or best ROI, until the market decides different, is always going to be PSA. All the other ones, they're just not there yet. They're often, compared to PSA prices in most cases, or even as worse as if people are selling cards on eBay, they tend to fluff the description to say this is the PSA equivalent of this card, but PSA from an ROI perspective. From a collection perspective, I've just started with PSA, so I just stuck with them. But if I had the choice, I probably would have used something else from my main collection, to be quite honest with you. So, all right, so before we go to this Reshiram, if you guys are enjoying yourselves and you want to learn more, please feel free to let me know in the comments. I try to do my best to read as many as I can. And if you guys are enjoying yourselves, I always appreciate likes and shares and all that fun stuff. It really helps me out. Spread the word, because I do this absolutely for free every Wednesday starting at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My main goal is to help you guys as the community navigate the crazy waters that is Pokemon. So again, if you're enjoying yourselves or if you want me to answer any questions from a vendor perspective, I'd be more than happy to answer as truthfully and as transparently as I possibly can. So I appreciate you guys hanging out here. And after this Reshiram, we're going to open up one of these. I got gifted these today, so we're going to open up one of them on stream and show you guys how bad my luck is. So we're going to see. Let's see. So Reshiram EX. So the first thing that I am noticing on this bad boy is the centering from the left to the right. So as a reminder, chat, when we are talking about PSA centering, specifically on the front, we need to focus on the ratio. So I'm going to go over how to calculate the ratio here in just a second, but basically the ratio that we need to be within is between 50-50, which is absolutely perfect, both the top to bottom and left to right, respectively, and 55-45. It used to be 60-40, now it's 55-45. So we're going to be doing a little bit of that as this is an example. So the first thing that I see is that it appears to be a little bit off center from the left to the right. I don't know if you guys can see that on stream, but it looks a little bit thick. So what we're going to do is, this is what I do personally for pretty much everything. Angel, thank you so much for the follow on TikTok. Appreciate you very much. So the left side, and I'm just going to kind of just call these tick marks. I'm not going to call them like 1/4 inch, 1/16 inch. I'm not going to call them millimeter, centimeter, because I have a lot of people from all over the place. So I'm just going to call them tick marks. So from the left to the right, we're going to kind of check from here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tick marks on the left side. And we are going to go on the, or I'm sorry, on the left side was 5 tick marks. So now we're going on the right side. So the right side, we have about, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4.5 roughly. So 4.5 on the right side and 5 on the left. So based off of those very rough measurements, obviously 5 is bigger than 4.5, so it is in fact technically heavier on the left, but we now have to do some quick math to make sure that we are within that 55-45, because if we are, then that's okay, based off of PSA's requirements. So how do we do that? So we add the left side, which is 5 tick marks in this case, plus the right side. I probably said right twice again for whatever reason. So 4.5, so the sum of the left and the right is going to be 9.5. So we divide one of those sides by the total, so 5 divided by 9.5, we're going to get 0.526 whatever. So we'll round up and we'll say 0.53. So what that means is if we 100 minus 53, so we have 47. So the ratio of this card specifically, based off of the very loose measurement that we're doing, is going to be 53-47 ratio, which means that the ceiling for centering is going to be at a 10. Whereas if that was 56-44, then technically we would not be able to get a PSA 10 grade, because it's no longer, the centering is bringing it down to a 9. So the ceiling, the best case scenario for this card, if it were above that 55-45 ratio, the most would be a PSA 9. So we should be good. Betty, thank you for liking the live. Appreciate you, as always. Let's see. I'm CGC, BGS focused, PSA only if there isn't comparable alternative sales. Yeah, and that's what the beauty of it is, right? Everyone has their niche, which is nice. I can confirm when I measured it, it does fall in the range for a 10. Perfect. So what we're kind of seeing here is within, technically on paper, within the range. So now that we got that out of the way, the centering, is good on the top and bottom as well, and the corners also look pretty good. So this Reshiram on the front, which is probably my favorite artwork of the set, by the way, is very good. Very good, very clean. So let us look at the back. So the back is actually in... So if it's... no, so in that case, Tony, if it was more of 57-43, it would be out of the range. So you have... what, 50-50, 51-49, 52-48, 53-47, 54-46, 55-45. Those are your ratios that you have to be within to get PSA 10 subgrade for centering. So even if the card's like 56 or 57, 43 centering with everything else super clean, it would not get a 10, or would that be up to the grader? I would say, Jay, the best way to think about it is the first part of the grade is basically setting the ceiling, basically how high the possible grade could get. So on paper, again, I'm only basing this off of what PSA sets their standard at. So if you measure your card on the front, I'm just talking about the front right now because the front is more specific than the back. The back is like 75-25. It's crazy how much leniency there is on the back. But on the front, if it's outside of that 55-45 ratio, on paper, the highest it could possibly get, if everything else was absolutely flawless, it could only get a 9, technically, because it's outside of that 55-45 or better, which is 50-50, that ratio. So in your example, yes, if it was like 56-44 or 57-43, technically it would not be PSA 10 eligible because it doesn't hit that subgrade requirement, if that makes sense. So that's kind of, and that sets the ceiling, right? So the best case scenario, if everything is good, it's a 9. Now, obviously, there's other factors, which I'm kind of going to go over on this Reshiram. Like whitening would make it worse, and like the centering on the back. Yeah, 75-25 is crazy on the back, but I'm pretty sure that's still what it is. Someone might check me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the PSA 10 centering on the back still has not been touched, which means that I think it's still 75-25 ratio. My card has 2 scars on the bottom end. Does that affect the grade? It would. So basically, another good rule of thumb mod is if you can see it, they can see it. Meaning that if it's obvious to you, it's going to be obvious to them. And so that in itself is going to prevent you from getting that 10 grade. Because that's something like a print line or a print defect or whatever. Because the mentality you have to have, right, is there are instances where PSA 10s simply don't have that defect or issue that your card has, right? So yours shouldn't be at a 10 contender if there are other copies that do not have that, if that makes sense. Would top bottom for the back of a card also be 75? Yes. So anytime I talk about ratio, you basically have to, the same thing applies to the left to the right as well as the top to bottom, both on the front and the back. The front is 55-45 to 50-50, and the back is 75-25, top, bottom, left, right, respectively. But again, I'm pretty sure it's still 75-25 on the back, but someone might have to double check me, but I'm pretty sure it is. Okay, so for the back of this Reshiram, I'm not seeing anything majorly wrong, which is fantastic. So let's take a look at this real quick. So back centering is still 75-25. Thank you, Matt, or Mike. Someone else was in Matt that was getting your name confused. You changing your name's confusing me, Mike. All right, I'm just going to let you know that right now. Crazy. Okay, so the top right corner looks good. Top edge looks good. Top left corner looks good. And everything that I'm doing, guys, assume that a grader is going to do. So even though I'm like really nitpicky and really looks like I'm tearing apart these cards, you know, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to save you guys some money. You know, because grading now costs it's a good chunk. You know, it's like what if you grade through GameStop, it's like $16 a card now or something like that. If you do it on your own, like the cheapest option is like the bulk service, and you have to submit 20, and it's still like $18 or like $16. I can't remember. So save yourself some money. It's 20 now. I'm telling, because everyone submits their cards. Everyone submits their cards now. Like it's a double-edged sword. I really love the accessibility of people being able to drop their cards off and get their cards graded, because it was a little bit of a it wasn't as complicated as people probably think it is, but you know, there is some work that you have to do. So it was kind of nice in that aspect to kind of make it more accessible, but at the same time, everyone's now doing it. So now the turnaround time is so much higher, because everyone's submitting their cards when they open up a card and they're like, yeah, this will 10, boom, submit it. And it's like, guys, not every card that comes out of a pack gets a 10. It just doesn't happen. It's just not what happens. In Europe, we have to use a middleman, and it costs me 32 euros per card. Dude, that's crazy. That's so unfortunate. Because I think they stopped, right? I think they stopped taking international submissions directly, right? I think they made a statement maybe months ago or something like that they stopped doing that until further notice or something like that. Man, that sucks, man. That really does. But, so the back of this Reshiram is really good. So, this is a really good centering example, guys. So the front of this Reshiram, just as a recap, we measured it to be roughly, and let me just make this a little bit bigger. So 53.47. So technically, centering subgrade should be a 10 still. So the front was really good. The back was really good. There was no whitening on the corners. So I think that this Reshiram, on paper, should be able to get a 10 technically. So we should be good there. So kudos to you, brother. All right. So, Mike, thank you as always, my friend, for submitting your Reshiram. And if you guys want to know how to submit your cards for a future grade review, again, this is as in-depth as I possibly can get. I want to make sure that you guys are as educated as possible. So if anyone wants to know how to submit your cards for a future grade review, all you have to do is click my link in my bio, which is going to take you to my link tree. Next, what you're going to want to do is you're going to click or tap the Discord icon, which is going to take you to my Discord, where we can see not only grade review, but a bunch of cool stuff. People post their collections in there all the time. We talk about prices. We talk about a bunch of stuff. So it's really cool. Definitely would love you guys to join there. Once you're in the Discord, you're going to go to the grade review channel and post your cards in there. You can post as many as you want. It's absolutely free and always will be free. However, it is a first come, first serve basis, so the faster you submit your cards, the faster you can get your cards reviewed, because I stream every Wednesday starting at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The only caveat to that rule is if you want to support me, as well as providing more ways to provide more content for you guys and whatever, the Discord server does offer a subscription that gives you priority grade review along with some other cool perks too. So that's how you do it. So if you guys want to have your cards reviewed in a future stream, definitely check that out, and I appreciate it. I may have submitted through an local game store, but they directly drop it off at PSA, so it has that security. That's actually really cool. I've heard a few stores starting to do that more. There's actually one in Northern California that actually has a PSA. It's crazy. I forgot what it is. It's like a really big card store. Someone might know it in chat. It's in Northern California, where they actually have a PSA representative now in their shop that's like ready to go, which is crazy to me, but that's cool. Let's see. Do graded rulers help? I would say, Curbs, I would say it definitely makes it easier, but if you're trying to go for like a BGS black label, I would honestly use, and I don't have one easily available, but I actually have like a transparent ruler with millimeter markers, and some people even take it as far as like, because I know there's like AI grading tools, and I don't really like to advocate AI grading tools, not because I'm like a boomer and I'm afraid of it. There's just so many that I just can't speak on like one that's better than the other. But there's other people that use like really specific scientific measurement tools, especially if you're trying to go for black labels. So long answer to your question, I think centering tools that you like overlay and kind of look in the border, I have a video on it. I think they're good, but the more specific you want to get, I would use a transparent ruler with millimeter markers. That's what I personally use. But if you want to hunt for black labels, you might need to invest in something that's very precise, because black label is like, if it's not 50-50 exactly, then you're not getting the black label. Crusher, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Have you heard of vendors having different prices for PSA 10s based off their cert number? Betty, I have. And I think, I don't know why, I don't know where this is coming from. I don't know if you guys agree, but I think that is the weirdest trend right now. Like, higher than the, does it come with the graded guard? The new cert thing, there's actually an argument that I actually heard that was, it was kind of weird. Right? Because I heard a really interesting argument to where older certs were, it was less known about people cleaning cards before they submit them. So in a weird way, the odds of a card that has a newer cert getting a higher grade may have been cleaned. Where the older ones, that wasn't as popular, so therefore those grades actually meant something because they weren't kind of processed and cleaned and tidied up, if you will. But at the end of the day, the one thing that I always advocate, and I think if you guys remember, those of you who've been into the hobby, SM Pratt, he was a OG in like the analytical like breakdown of cards. I still think he's really good at what he does. But basically the rule of thumb is buy the card, not the cert, or buy the card, not the grade. Like if you like the card and the condition that it's in, like focus on that. Like don't hyperfixate on the grade, don't hyperfixate on the cert. If you like the card, buy the card, not the grade, because there's all these other weird factors that behind the scenes that can impact that. So, I know I'm kind of ranting, but I think that PSA cert crap, because the argument to that is like when PSA inevitably introduces AI grading to their kind of tool bag, people are going to say the same thing about the new certs that are out now. It'll just, like, the technology is going to be perpetually better as the years progress. So what, are you going to, like, belittle every other grade back then? No. No, you're not going to. Anyone that says that, they're just trying to inflate their cost. And I think it's a really cheeky way of putting a premium on your cards because grading is just getting more expensive overall. I think that's just a tricky way of adding a premium to something that doesn't warrant a premium. So that's my take. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree, but that's my take on it. But anyway, before we go into the Lucky Stadium, which was a promo exclusive in New York City, let's calm down a little bit, chat. Let's calm down a little bit. We have some packs. I'm gonna open up one to start. We have 3 packs. We're gonna open up the Lucario. We're going to see what we get. I'm going to show you guys how bad my luck is. And trust me when I say it is not good. So, if you guys want to see me open up bulk, you're about to see it. Because that is the only thing that I open these days. And I have no idea if there is a card trick. This is the first time I have actually ever opened modern Japanese. So we're just gonna get right into it. So first, we got the Spearow. We got the Sandshrew. Vibin. We got the bunny soccer guy. I'm not even gonna pretend I know his name. Chat. Fake fan. Lieutenant Surge, I know that man. Alright, and is that it? Ninetales. There it is. See, chat? Look at me flexing my bulk, chat. Flexing the bulk. Catch me. So we still got 2 more. Still got 2 more. So we'll open up those in a second. Beautiful bulk. Absolutely gorgeous bulk, chat. So let's look at this Lucky Stadium, shall we? Great review. There we go. All right. So this submission is by Tech. So Tech, let us look at your Lucky Stadium. So the centering is pretty good. Let me just take a new screenshot. So centering is good. Not worried about that. So top corner, good. Gonna make that a little bit less thick here. Top, good. So right now I'm just looking at the centering and the edges in the corners, because there's definitely some issues that I see off the rip. You guys might be able to see them on stream, so I'll get to those in a second. So far the edges and the corners look good. Maybe something here. Maybe something here. So, okay. So, there are a lot of what appears to be dirt on the surface of the card. So, something like this. So anytime I see dirt, one of the easiest ways to fix or address dirt which I personally don't think is alterations, which is simply using distilled water and either a Q-tip or microfiber cloth. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to highlight some of the dirt that I see on this card that could possibly be removed. So we have one here. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller again. So we have one there, there, possibly there. Let's see. Make sure, because the tricky part about circling dirt, to be honest, is I don't know if the dirt is on my monitor or your card. We do have what appears to be whitening or something there where my arrow is. Has something there. Definitely a spot there. So all this dirt, guys, it will definitely impact your surface subgrade for sure. Because the more dirt that is present, it also impacts kind of the fifth hidden grading criteria, which is called eye appeal, especially on the front. There are a lot of instances where, you know, if your eye kind of is drawn to these dirt marks and blemishes, it's going to be pretty rough. And so right now, it might be something there on the Pikachu's forehead. Let's see, something probably there, there. And there's just a lot. So right now, just to kind of put it in perspective, like when I see a lot of this dirt, at a best, you're already looking at like light play to moderately play just on the front, which is going to be like a 6 or a 5. So all of these like pimple marks that I kind of highlighted on the front of this card, all of that possibly could be treated. Because to me, it looks like dirt, which is pretty easy to remove if done correctly. So all of that's going to impact your surface subgrade if left untreated or if you can't do anything about it. So let us look at the back of the card. And holy cannoli, chat, this thing is absolutely fried. But we are going to do our best to yeah. We're going to take our best to look at it. So we got boom. So the back is fried beyond belief. So it would probably take me 5 minutes to mark everything on here. So we're not going to do that. However, I am going to say that the centering is pretty good. But all 4 corners, all 4 edges are noticeably whitened. Not as bad as it probably could be, based off of the amount. I'm actually surprised that I don't see any bends or creases or folds or anything like that, just due to the back of this card looking so cooked, which is a good thing. But there is a lot of surface issues on the back of this card, for sure. So when we look at this, it's pretty much just everywhere. So we're really kind of in the range of, you know, do I think this card is damaged? No, I don't. So I don't think it would get like a 2 or a 1. Do I think it's near mint? No, not at all. So it won't get a 7 or higher. So right now, our pocket is within a 6 to a 3. So that's kind of that's our guidelines or guardrails, if you will, here. So the front had a lot of dirt, a lot of grime on it. So right there, we're at the 6 to 5 range. The back alone is really bringing that down to a 5 or a 4. The fact that there is no bend, crease, fold is really saving you, in my opinion, from getting the 3 at all. So I would imagine, my gut would say that this would probably get a 4 if graded as is. So again, why do I think this Lucky Stadium would get a PSA 4? Is because all the marks that you see on screen with all the dirt and grime, at best, you're at a 5 if left untreated. You might be able to bump it up a little bit if you can clean some of that off with a microfiber or some distilled water, but right now you're probably at a 5. If we flip it over, so we look at the back of the card, it's much worse. The thing that's preventing it from getting a 4 or I'm sorry, a 3 or lower is there's no bends, folds, or creases. So that is really good. So you're right at that edge of having that 4 go down to a 3 if there was a presence of one of those 3 major damage markers. So I think for me, this would most likely get a PSA 4 at the end of the day. Very cool card. It's a very hard card to get if you're trying to do the promo completionist, but it's really cool nonetheless. It was stuck in a binder for 10 plus years. Luckily, I never took it out to play as a kid. Well, that's really good. But I mean, I still think it's pretty cool. Me personally, you know, I love submitting stuff that I think is just from like a history perspective really interesting, and I would grade that. I wouldn't care what it'd get. It's just cool to protect it, and that's why I personally like grading. Is the like kind of the preservation or the protection of older cards. Like I've shown you guys my banned cards before. A lot of those, some of those are like PSA 2s and 3s, but I got them myself and I just graded them. So, all right, next up is the Whale Lord. So let's take a look at this bad boy. Centering is good. Top, bottom, left, right looks great. Corners look good. Again, with Modern, it's pretty much just 10 or bust, and we're really looking at centering and corners. With this angle, there's really not much we can see from like a print line perspective, so I'm not too worried about that. The back, I don't think it would get a 10, and I'm wondering if anyone knows why. Zay is not real. Thank you for liking the live. Appreciate you. At first glance, does anyone know, before I kind of step in here, why do you think I think this card would not get a 10? Does anyone want to take a guess? Rob, welcome. Yes, Mike. Top right, top left, and bottom left. So this is an excellent example, chat, of when people ask me often when we do grade review, how much of an impact does whitening have on a card? And this is a really good example. What's going on, Robbies? So we have, just from the whitening alone, we have top right, so on that section, so that's 1. We have top left, that's 2. And we possibly have 1 on the bottom left, which is not good. So in this instance, you're probably in the 9, maybe even an 8 range. If that one in the bottom left is pretty predominant, in my opinion, it's pretty noticeable. And you also have 3 points of it. So that one up there on the top left, and you have a little bit there on the top right. So you might not get the 9 either. So again, for me, for Modern, to keep it simple, if it doesn't 10, you shouldn't send it in. Unless that changes, unless the market changes, for right now, this card will not get the 10, so I probably wouldn't submit it, in my honest opinion. So this card probably get, like, if someone's asking me, probably like a 9 or an 8. Just judging by 3 of those bits of whitening, top left, top right, and bottom left. But more of the 8 because that one is so predominant in the bottom left based off of what I can see. But yeah, not too sure. So next up, so we got the Whale Lord. So this is the Pheasantipity, right? Pheasantipity EX. So let's take a look at this bad boy. So the front is looking good. Not too worried about that. The back actually looks pretty good. So I'm not seeing any. So again, the centering and corners are the biggest thing that I look for when looking at Modern. Japanese or English, doesn't matter. So top right corner looks good. Top left corner looks good. Left edge, bottom corner, bottom right, all looks good. Thank you guys so much for the likes, by the way. Appreciate that. Must be a lot of you because my overlay isn't updating, so appreciate that. So this one, I think this Pheasantipity, I think you have a good shot at getting a 10. Moro, I'm not sure how to grade Japanese backs to the gold being a gradient-ish. Yes. So how I normally go about it, and it's kind of weird because a part of this is honestly feel, but I'll do my best to try to highlight what I look for specifically for measuring centering of back of Japanese cards. So right about, and I'll kind of have the ruler to help me out here. So right about here. So from here, and then if I just use like a different color, so like right here. So between the red and the orange and the green here, this kind of line right about here-ish, if I can, sorry, I'm trying to make it so that I can show you what I'm talking about. And it's kind of hard. So basically like right here, and I kind of messed up the line there. So right about there. So right when it kind of like the gold meets the blue in this section here, that's kind of where I start to measure. When it starts to be like 50-50, like 50-50 kind of merging of the gold and the blue. And so that's why it's kind of hard to kind of really articulate that well with like, you know, give me the hard number or the hard answer. And it's really just kind of a feel. So like here would probably be like right here about on that side. So right about there. So hopefully that makes sense. But right, basically just say like, you know, if you have like a 50-50 merge between the blue and the gold, that's right about where the line is. But yeah, I think that looks great. I don't see anything wrong with the front or the back of the corners, so I think that looks great. Gengar. Let us see. So centering on this bad boy looks good. So not worried about that. Corners look good. So the only thing that is really strange, and I have seen this on cards before, but I think this is the first time, you know what? It's actually pretty crazy. I think this is the first time after 79 episodes doing this. This is the first time I've seen a frayed edge of this degree. So what it appears, unless you treated this before you sent it out, is all of this like fuzz on the right side. I don't know if you guys can see that. Like now you can. Like all this right here. That's almost like it like when it was cut off the sheet, it almost like peeled that like center cardboard layer off, and it didn't like make a full cut. It was almost like dull as a cut and kind of ripped or teared from the sheet. So I would say if I had this in person, one technique that is really good to try to address this stuff is if you have painter's tape. So that blue painter's tape that's meant to easily peel off of walls. Normally what I'll do is I'll actually put like the sticky side around, make a circle, and put it along my finger and really slowly roll the painter's tape along the edge to kind of to catch some of these like loose or extra fibers off the edge. Because that seems very excessive, to be honest. I've never seen that much before. But that would be the first thing that I would attempt if I saw it like this on this right side. Alla, thank you for following. Appreciate that. Yes, Monty. Smarter people before me thought of that. So, but yeah, I would just use painter's tape. Use painter's tape. Put a little bit of a roll on your finger. Roll it along the edge, and sometimes you can catch some of these loose fibers on the side, because that's really aggressive. So I would say if you can get rid of it by doing that, that's easy, no problem. If you can't, I probably wouldn't submit it because it probably won't get the 10. It'll probably ding you for edge wear, even though it's like an extension of the side of the card. But yeah, that one's tough. This one is more like it's really hard to kind of gauge because I don't know how easy that would be removed from that painter's tape trick. But the centering on the front looks good, and the corners look good. But if we flip it over, yeah, you can kind of see it really good here. Let me take a screenshot of this because this was actually a really good example of what I was kind of talking about. Man, everyone's got that card. Dot has that card. Ace has that card. Yeah, I hear you, Moment. Yeah, so all this right here, This is definitely an issue of during the cutting process of the sheet. Definitely having some issues there for sure. My Houndoom looks like that too. Man, you guys have some ripped up cards, man, from the printing. The other thing that I see too is we do have some whitening on the back there, and possibly in this section on the top back. So I would say, realistically, because this card, which is kind of weird, this card isn't that expensive. How do I spend? Interesting Bubble Mew. I think we would get 10. They were slacking with these for real. Yeah, Moral for sure. Hey, is Red Dot Error print Hickey on Rayquaza VMAX worth sending in? It might. They do consider that as an error. So you might be able to squeak away with an error, but depending on the size, they might just dock you for surface. I've never submitted them, so it's really hard for me to say without looking at it. But Notorious, I will go over that in just a second, my friend. So I think regardless, with the spots that I kind of marked here in the top, this top right corner as well as the bottom right corner, I don't think it would get the 10. So again, Modern for me is 10 or bust. But that would be a huge thing that I would love to try to fix with that painter's tape that I was talking about. But I don't think, regardless if you got that off or not, I don't think you'd get a 10. So for me, I'd probably hold off because it'd probably get like a 9 or an 8. Probably more of an 8, to be honest. Before I look at this Team Rocket's Meowth, there are people that are wondering how to submit, and I haven't gone through this yet. So if you guys are wondering how to submit your cards for a future grade review, I stream every Wednesday. I do this every Wednesday absolutely for free. So the first thing you're going to do is go into my bio. You're going to go to my link tree. Once you're at my link tree, you're going to click or tap the Discord icon. You're going to then be redirected to my Discord. Not only do we do grade reviews, but we share off collections and do price talks and stuff like that. So we'd love to have you. But once you are in there, you'll see a grade review channel. Once you're in the grade review channel, you're going to submit your cards, ungraded, unsleeved, out of top loaders, good background, and submit that in the channel. Again, it's absolutely for free. You can submit as many as you want, but it is first come, first serve. So the faster you submit, the faster I'll review them during the following Wednesday streams. I'll let you know when it is live, and all the lives get automatically uploaded to YouTube, which I'm also streaming to if you want a different viewing experience. But if you want your cards assessed as soon as possible, the Discord server does offer a subscription starting at $2.99 a month if you want to have not only priority but more perks and incentives, stuff like that. It's not required, but it's always appreciated. So that is how you do it. Bear, thank you for the follow, and Dot, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that very much. If you guys are enjoying yourselves, I always appreciate the likes and shares as well. Helps me kind of push this stuff out. At the end of the day, I'm here for you. So if you guys have any questions about grading or just the market, because I also vend. I have a show coming up this Sunday that I'm actually preparing for, which I'll probably go over in a second. And we have some other fun topics that we're going to be talking about today on when you should sell your cards. That's going to be after the grade review section. So if you want to stay tuned for that, I'm going to be going over that. So thank you guys so much for the support. 9 and Ace, thank you guys so much for the follows. So let us continue with the Team Rocket's Meowth from Destined Rivals. So let's take a look at this real quick. And let me get rid of some of these older. So we did the Gengar, we did that one, and now we are on Team Rocket's Meowth. So let us take a look. So the centering is good. Corners look good. Looks like you do have, and you guys, if this is your first time, you're probably going to laugh and like, why am I really fixated on little white dots? Because if they're left on there, PSA is going to dock you for surface subgrades. So they're not going to clean, as of now, they're not going to clean your cards for you for free. Because they're probably going to charge it. That was in the questionnaire, blah, blah, blah. So make sure to just wipe your cards off. So the reason why I say that is something like this. That looks like a little bit of a white fuzz by Giovanni's ear there, as well as this possibly looking like a little bit of white fuzz as well. It's common when you open up cards, the little, like, the card stock in the center of the card, the little fibers kind of get stuck onto the surface or get stuck in the little pores of the surface. So sometimes they just simply get stuck on there, and you just have to wipe them off with a microfiber cloth. Super easy. Save yourself the opportunity for PSA to reduce your surface grade because you had some stuck on little fuzzes, whatever. So aside from that, the rest of the card looks really good. I don't see any major print lines or anything like that. So far we're chilling. However, when we look at this card a little bit closer on the back, I am seeing some issues that will most likely prevent us from getting the 10. Having said that, again, for Modern, it's always centering and corners that are like the biggest issues when trying to go for that 10 or bust. So top right corner looks good. It's really just this one right here. So that top left, normally if that was less noticeable, this could probably squeak away what I like to call a gambler's 10. So sometimes I've seen whitened corners like that get submitted to PSA and come back as 10s. Simple. I've seen the same that have been submitted and come back as 9s, sometimes even 8s in the worst case scenario. So the gambler's 10, if this was a little bit better, would be in that kind of gambler's 10 range. This is a little bit more noticeable. So I think your odds of this card getting a 10 because of that more noticeable whitening in the top left is much lower than if it were lighter. In addition, you have a little bit of one right there in the bottom left and possibly here on the bottom right. So those two are very like minor, but I think because of this one being so predominant, this would not get the 10. In addition to these ones in the bottom left and the bottom right, respectively. So you're probably looking at a 9, maybe even an 8, depending on if the bottom two are worse in person, but it definitely wouldn't get a 10. So I wouldn't submit it if you're trying to look for a 10. I got an 8 on Gambler's 10. I hear you, Trash. I hear you. Amir, thank you for sharing the live. I appreciate that very much. And Joseph, thank you for liking the live. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so that is your rundown, Tech. So hopefully that helps you out. I think my favorite card of that whole one was Lucky Stadium. I always like the history and the old promos, so definitely a really cool piece, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. So next up is going to be that boy with the captain. The captain and the Umbreon. Really interesting that the Chinese cards are really taking off as of late. Oh, thank you for the hand hearts, Mauro. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I have a Gengar Fandom Forces. There's a bit of dirt something in the texture groove. Well, hopefully you can get it out with some distilled water. I would say distilled water and use like a pointed Q-tip. If you can get some. That's what I personally use. Pointed Q-tip, use distilled water, probably have it like 5% humid, and then just like kind of dip the point onto the location you're trying to like loosen the dirt, kind of sit there for like 10 seconds or so, and just try to slowly do like some counterclockwise and clockwise circles on it. But yeah, Mauro, thank you so much for the gift, and thank you for hanging out. Appreciate that. Not saying for you to leave. I'd love for you to stay around. How can I send you my card? I have the Paldean Evolved Magikarp. Well, first, congratulations for having that. Super cool that you do. So, yeah, I'll go over this real quick before I go with that boys, which is the Captain Pikachu, World of T-Shirts Pikachu. I'm surprised no one's calling it that. And the Umbreon. So, how you do it is if you go into my bio, you'll see my Linktree link. Once you're here, you're going to click or tap the Discord icon, which will redirect you to my Discord. Next, what you're going to want to do is go to the grade review channel and submit your cards inside of the grade review channel. It's completely free. I stream this every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can submit as many as you want as long as it's outside of the top loader, outside of the sleeve, not graded, and a good background and clear pictures. Those are the only requirements. But it is first come, first serve since it is free. So the faster you want your cards reviewed, I would recommend submitting them as soon as possible. So just kind of keep that in mind. But if you want priority grade review each week, like Mike takes advantage of that each week, the Discord does offer a subscription starting at $2.99 a month, which not only supports me, but also gives you guys some perks and incentives, like you get more giveaway submissions, and you're gonna get like some more perks that are higher the tiers you go. So yeah, it's not required, but it's always appreciated. So yeah, that's how you do it. Man, I missed it. You checked my Blastoise? No, I don't think so. Right now, I just checked. I checked Mike's. I checked Tech's. So if you look at the episode 79 thread on the Discord, I am at that boy right now. So I have Dave, Wonton, Civic, and yours in the line. So I haven't touched yours yet. My card, did you do the Gyarados yet? I did not. The only ones that I have in queue for you right now, if this is yours, I have the World of T-Shirts Pikachu and the Umbreon. So yeah, you're good. All right. So World of T-Shirts Pikachu. Let's take a look. So again, Tenor Bust for Modern. This one's probably a little bit different. Like if you wanted to kind of shoot for the 9, you can. But most people are going to say, you know, if it didn't get the 10, it's not as desirable, whatever. So centering and corners are the issues with Modern. So let's check those to start. What's in store? Thank you for sharing the live over on TikTok. Thank you so much. Okay, so the right side looks a very smidge thicker than the left, but we're definitely within that 55-45 range, so I'm not going to be too fixated on that. That corner looks good. Edge looks good. That corner looks good. Left edge looks good. Bottom left corner looks good. Bottom edge looks good. So nothing notable that I can see that really warrants any further discussion. Not seeing any major print lines, which is good. World of T-Shirts Pikachu looking good with the Buzzball. The back. Let's take a look at the back. So the back centering looks good. Again, the centering is way more lenient on the back than the front, so it's 75-25 ratio on the back. The top right corner looks good. Top edge looks good. That corner looks good. Now, the only thing that I see, and I don't know if it's an issue with the camera, but I think it's just worth kind of highlighting. So if it is a camera thing, then dismiss this. But if it's not, I'm seeing some weird like shadowing here as well as here. And I don't know if you guys in stream can see that or not. I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit. You can kind of see a little bit of a shadow here. I don't know if you guys can see that. I think this is lighting coughing, but I think if this is whitening, then you know it is what it is. But I think it's lighting more than anything, just because the top of the cards looks a little bit more illuminated. But my guess is that it's probably a camera issue. It might be really difficult to see on stream, so I'm really trying to kind of paint the picture, but that's really about it. But that bottom left corner looks good. I don't know if this is whitening. It might be the material in the background. Ninja, yes. But everything that I'm talking about can translate to any card. So or any, Pokemon, One Piece, Magic, it doesn't matter. All the techniques are can transfer between all the collectibles. Tech, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. That side looks good. So yeah, I think a majority of what I'm seeing might be just like camera illusions and what the background was used. The bottom left specifically looks a little like weirder to me, but I don't know if it's the background or not. These little two white spots, what I have circled. Do a little smiley face. So if those are not there, if this is just an illusion, this left side that I'm kind of chalking up to a camera weird issue. This is free, Ninja. And if this is just lighting, which I'm more inclined to say yes than no, then based off of what I'm seeing, there's no centering issues or no corner issues. I would say you have a good shot at a 10. I don't see anything wrong in the front or the back. However, I'd say the most realistic issue that I see is if this bottom does in fact have 2 white specks down there, this would not 10 because of it. Probably get a 9 in most cases because they look very mild in nature if they are present. But aside from that, I think this is, now that I'm kind of really thinking about it, this seems more of like a camera issue and less of a card issue. But obviously if it's there, then it's going to go way lower. But my bet is that it's not. So again, why do I think that this captain would possibly get a 10, but in other cases a 9? So the Captain's Pikachu, I think, would get either a PSA 10 or a 9. It's not because of the front, but it's more of the back. And so what we saw was these little possible white dots in the bottom where I made the little smiley face. If those are there, then you're probably looking at a 9. If they're not because of how the background is, you're probably looking more at a 10, which would be a huge come up for you. Because I think this stuff right here, even though it kind of looks to be like a little weird shadow issue, might just be more of the camera, which I think is still worthy of bringing up, because if you're looking at cards on the internet for the pictures, you might run into this problem. So that's kind of where I'm at. Let's see. Big Joe, what's the best grading company in your opinion? So I can only speak from a business perspective, and from a business perspective, I think PSA, because it's going to give you the best ROI outside of the more exclusive premium options like Black Labels, BGS, and more so than like the Black Label or Pristine CGC, because it's kind of like a backup or a fallback. But PSA on average is going to give you the best return on your investment. But from a collector perspective, it really just depends on what slabs you like the best. I like what the look of them. So yeah, David, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Submitted mine. Nice, Daniel. How do I give you a sample? So how you do it is if you go into my bio, I'm just going to explain this real quick. I apologize if you guys heard the spiel. I'm going to do it really quick. So in the bio, you're going to click on my Linktree link. Once you're here, you're going to go to the Discord by tapping or clicking the Discord icon on the top. Next, you're going to go into the grade review channel, and you're going to submit your cards there. It's absolutely free, always will be. I do this every Wednesday starting at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I stream as many of these as I can, max around 15. It is first come, first serve, so if you want your cards assessed as soon as possible, do not wait. Submit them as soon as you can. But if you want priority, the Discord server does offer a subscription starting at $2.99 a month, which gives you priority each week, along with some other cool benefits. It's not required, but it's always appreciated. So that's how you do it. Oh, nice, Mina. Yeah, it's a beautiful card. It's really nice. The Chinese cards are doing really well. They used to not really be sought after, but now they're really blowing up. Big Joe and Mina, thank you both for the follows. Appreciate that very much. And one thing to note too, I don't have a good picture on demand, but for Chinese cards, they actually have a watermark now in the bottom left corner, which will actually have Pokemon etched in the bottom left, and right in this section. So if you're wondering the legitimacy of a Chinese card, look for that watermark for the newer stuff. Because if it's not there, then it's not real. They all have the watermark. So, okay. So, the Umbreon, who is very suspicious of something, with the one eye open. So, centering on this is really good. Corners are great. Top left good. Centering good. So, that is good. That's good. 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 Followed the host. I appreciate that. Wolf Dragon. If you did follow, appreciate that. So yeah, aside from that, like the surface looks good. I don't see any obvious print lines. I don't see any like weird fuzzy stuff stuck to it. Yeah, looks great. Let's flip it on over. And actually, this is really nice. So sometimes this is a good rule of thumb. If you guys want me to see different angles of cards, I also look at those too. I don't count that towards like your total, if that makes sense. Bonus pizza 2. Yeah, it'll be ready for pickup in about 25-30 minutes. You have to come get it, and I only take pork pay. Just letting you know. I don't see any print lines. So that's good. So the back. So the back is, so there's a little bit of some suspicious activity here. In this one, I'm more inclined to think that it's on the card than the background. So again, the light source is up in the top, so this section right here, I'm not going to worry about. So this is not whitening, that's just the reflection of the light coming in from the top. So that corner looks good. That corner looks good. The top left and the top right. Left edge looks good. That looks okay. There might be something weird going on in this section with that surface. But it's these three right here. And I don't know. I'm going to try my best to show you guys. So this right here. So that's 1. That's 2. And that's 3. So what I can see is that there are 3 very, very small white dots in the bottom of this Umbreon. So they are extremely small in nature. Like you saw how much I had to zoom in. But to me, they appear on the card because of how dark the background is. So I would say with that alone, I don't think this card would 10 because of those 3 white dots present on the bottom. I don't think it's bad enough to get an 8 unless this one and this one is more predominant in person. Which would lean more towards an 8, but I would probably lean this more towards a 9. But again, since it won't 10, I'd probably just sell it as near mint plus, because technically it is. And let someone else, if they want to grade it, cool. But I don't think it'd get a 10. Kate, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that very much. And yeah, that is that is your submission. And next up is Dave with the Charizard V. And it looks like the Solgaleo and the Lunala. Yes. So let me just get those prepared here. And before we go to the next one, we have a where is my just chatting screen? So we got gifted 3 of these Japanese packs. So we're going to open up one more. And then we're going to open up the Reshi pack here towards the end. I have yet to open these yet. And we're going to see how much bulk we get. So here we go. We're just going to get right into it, chat. All right. Crab. Bear. Not going to pretend that I remember these names. I'm a fake Pokemon fan. Don't remember that name. Was this Wally? Boom. It's a ninja. Bulk. Bulk simulator, chat. Wow. Look at all that bulk. I'm telling you, chat. No worries, Mason. Now that you just watched me get absolute trash, let me show you how to do it. So the quick, because I just got done explaining it, but it's okay. You're new. It's okay. So if you guys are wondering how to submit your cards for a free grade review, here's how you do it. So first, you're going to go into the link in my bio. You're going to go to my link tree. You're going to click or tap the Discord icon. You're then going to submit your pictures in the grade review channel. It is absolutely free, always will be. I stream grade review every Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can submit as many cards as you want. Again, absolutely for free. Just make sure that they're not a top loader, not a sleeve, good background, front and back, and good lighting. And not graded. So I'll review them on stream. It is first come, first serve. So if you want me to assess your cards as soon as possible, submit them as soon as possible. But if you want priority grade review, where you kind of skip each week, the server, the Discord server, offers a subscription starting at $2.99 a month, which gives you priority along with some other really good perks like discounts on my online store, stuff like that. Because I do have an online store as well where I sell Pokemon singles. So it's not required, but it is appreciated. That's how you do it. All right. And if you guys are enjoying yourselves, always appreciate those likes and shares. Really does help me a lot. Helps me see that you guys are actually enjoying kind of my 2 cents. Again, I kind of talk about everything for Pokemon, so if there's any questions that you guys have, like my opinions on grading, or actually when we're done with the grade review section, we're actually going to be talking about when to sell your Pokemon cards. I have that segment that the Discord voted on yesterday, so that's going to be the main topic after this, telling you guys when to sell, when to hold, all that fun stuff. So, won't let me complete action to join the Discord. You might have to go through it might send you through like an onboarding process, but I'll if it still sticks with you, if you're trying to do it on mobile, you might have to do it on desktop. Okay, so Dave, let's look at your Charizard V. That is on a microfiber cloth. So let's see. So centering on this bad boy is looking good. Nothing to know on that front. That angle looks good. That angle looks good. Yeah, nothing predominant that I can see on the front. Where is the best place to buy cards? I've been using, I'm assuming you mean TCG Player, but I've been scammed a few times. Well, that's not good. I would say that the best place is my store. But I would say if you're trying to, like, you know, at the end of the day, it's the unfortunate thing, and like I know I just said like my online store, but you know, not every transaction, you know, on TCG Player is going to be a good one. But that doesn't mean that all of them are bad. But if you're having enough bad experiences, a recommendation if you have the luxury is going to like a local card show or a local game store. GameStop is kind of nice now that they're kind of filling that void and making game stores more accessible again. So is that the real TCG police? That'd be cool. Where do I send photos to you? Well, you can submit photos through the Discord. So the link is in my bio. Poke, what's going on, man? Welcome back, welcome back. So if you are in my link in bio, if you go here, you're just going to click or tap the Discord icon, and then just submit your pictures in the grade review channel. It's completely free, always will be. And it is first come, first serve. So just make sure that if you want your cards assessed as soon as possible, submit them as soon as possible. But if you want priority grade review, the Discord server does offer a subscription starting at $2.99 a month, which gives you not only priority, but some also cool perks too. So yeah, that's how you do it. Do I sell bulk? I do not. So if you want to go to my site, like I don't want to spend too much time on it, but my site currently has anything like at 30 or higher, just because of the shipping logistics. Doesn't really make too much sense. But I'd say for bulk, definitely local game stores, man. You're definitely gonna have a better time getting the bulk you need without paying for additional shipping and, like you said, kind of that scam. Because especially if you're buying bulk, a lot of that doesn't have shipping. So that's kind of the gist of it. Okay, so the front is good. The back, you don't have pictures of the cards in the shop. I should. You know what? So if you go to here, this is my link tree. So go to my website, my store. Hopefully it doesn't crash. There we go. So this is my store. So if you go here, you can go here. graded, or raw. Let's go to graded. Here's some of the graded stuff that I have. So like a Dark Machamp, Dark Gyarados, all of it's completely above board. I update these prices like once a week. Again, I don't want to go too deep into it because I don't really like to focus on like the sales aspect because there's enough channels out there, but these are all the actual scans for the PSA stuff. And then the raw, these are just stock images, but there is a text us function where if you want to actually see the card, like pictures, because I have a scanner, but it just takes way too long to scan all my cards. So it's more of like an on-demand thing. They're all right here. So, yeah. But anyway, not the main focus, but it's there. So the back, let's see. So the back of this card actually looks pretty good. The TCG Police, thank you for following. Appreciate you, man. I don't know if you're the real one or not, but you do good work. If you're the real one, kudos. Kudos. What you do is really good, in my opinion. If you are the real one. Just saying. So the top right looks good. Top left looks good. Let's see. Yeah, if you want to see any of their actual cards for the near mint stuff, there's a text us function. And just submit that you want to look at a specific card, and I respond that way. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it's all there on the website. So this card looks really good, man. I don't see anything majorly wrong. I know, man. I'm trying. I am trying. No yawning in this stream. But this card looks really clean, dude. I'm not going to lie to you. There's no whitening. The front was really good, actually. This looks really, dude, this looks like a really clean copy. To be completely honest with you. Sounds good, Moro. Thank you so much for hanging out, man. And thank you for the gift. And if you have more cards, always love to see your cards, dude. I appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, it looks great. I would say that this would be a good 10 contender. I don't see any, based off the pictures you provided, I'm not seeing anything majorly wrong with this. The centering is super good. Especially on the front. Yeah, honestly, like what Apple said, if this looks as good as what we're kind of seeing, this might be a good black label contender. Granted, you have to actually measure it in person or whatever, but the centering is really good on the front of this card. Super good. So definitely a 10 contender, without a doubt. And the Solgaleo and the Lunala. Let's take a look at this bad boy. Centering looks good. It looks like a little thicker on that left side. So this one's going to be a little bit difficult for me to actually measure on stream because it's at an angle. So it's closer to us on the bottom than it is on the top. So it's kind of like angled weird. So measuring it's going to be a little bit difficult. It does look a little bit thicker on the left than the right, but I think we're good within that range. But aside from that, the corners look good. Let's see. The front of this looks really good on that side. The back looks good. And this one's really the angle that I care about. Let's take a quick screenshot of this. Boom. So that corner looks good. So maybe something there on that P. But that might just be able to just kind of, again, probably looks like a wipe it off kind of thing. But aside from that, a little bit hard to see if that's whitening or not because I don't know if that's the background. But, I mean, besides this, and besides possibly this, this looks really good, to be quite honest with you. It looks really good. If you can get rid of that on the P. That's just kind of the only thing you got to kind of keep in mind. But yeah, I mean, I would say both of those are pretty strong, man. The Charizard for sure. The Charizard for sure is a super good 10 contender in my honest opinion. Super good. Okay, so next up is Wonton with another Umbreon. Yeah. So yeah, it's really just that front centering too. Oh, nice. Let's see. So another Umbreon. So let's take a look. Centering is good. Corners look good. No major print lines. Making my job easy, chat. Making my job easy. This one. The nap attack, man. I know. It's like something's in the woods there. Gotta keep one eye open. So that edge looks good. Just this little bit of what I'm kind of seeing here at this angle. It's really just, again, just do your due diligence and wipe off whatever this is here. Don't give them any issues or give them any reason to dock you guys some points. We don't need that. But that's pretty good. That centering looks good. Top, bottom, left, right looks fine. There's no whitening on the corners. There might be some fuzz stuck here on this side. Like right in this section. Kind of zoom in here. So this right here looks a little bit like something. But again, well, I'm really zooming in. So it might just be part of the camera or something that can just be wiped off. So I think the two things that I highlighted on this Umbreon can probably just be wiped off with a microfiber cloth. But if it can't, then you probably won't get the 10. But my gut says that it's probably pretty easy to get rid of just by wiping it off. So I'd say it's a pretty good shot. I would say, again, the only thing that I'd probably keep an eye on is whatever this is, which would actually be, if we're looking at it from this angle, I can kind of get both here. So this, wipe that off with a microfiber. But then this right here in this section, I'm not too sure what that is on the surface. Yes, and suck out every bit of dust in your room. Apple, you know it, man. Sounds like you're a PSA informant. A PSA insider, if you will. So I feel like you had another one. You did. I think it was further down. So you had... Did you? Or maybe not. I thought I had you for... Oh, I know what happened. I marked yours twice. Alright, so next up is Civic, who is a long-time member of the channel. And we got a pretty cool Umbreon from the e-readers. The Japanese variant with an insane swirl in that moon. Super sick. Mason, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. If you guys are enjoying yourselves, appreciate a like and a follow. Always makes, it's always nice to see. And you know what, chat? Before we get into this Umbreon, we're going to open up the last gifted pack. Can we get the Reshiram? Doubt it. You guys are going to see some bulk. This is the last pack that was gifted to me. Let's see. Let's see if we get anything notable, chat. I don't know any tricks. We're just getting right into it. Bad dog. Jellyfish. Ooh, a tool. Ooh, thunderous. Ooh, swan. Ooh, energy. Trash. Look at that, chat. Bulk simulator. Well, at least they were free. That's good. I'm so good at opening packs. All right. So the Umbreon was from Aquapolis. I can never remember. I think this one was from Aquapolis. So let's take a look. This one, I think Civic said that this was already submitted to. Yeah, they did use a stud finder. I saw that. That's crazy. The stud finder strat. So, yeah, this swirl is insane. I agree. Right in the moon. So this one was submitted already, and I think Civic said that he would let me know what it actually came back as. So this is always fun. So let's take a screenshot of the front so we can doodle all over this card. So we'll do boom. Okay. Yes. My favorite, actually no, the Sky Ridge Umbreon in the grass is definitely my favorite of the Moonbreons. Okay, so centering looks good, and how I do that on the e-reader is right from the top right here. So that section, it kind of gives a little bit of an eyeball effect. So let's see. So that one's good. That one's good. Right now I'm just looking at the left edge. That looks good. Bottom left corner, good. Bottom edge, good. Bottom right, good. Right corner, good. And that's good. So now we go into the surface. So the text looks to be okay. Man, I'm like really hunched over. My posture is awful right now. So we do have what appears to be some scratches or some issues. So we have something possibly here on the chest. We have something possibly in this section here. Aside from that, possibly something here, but that's super faint. Maybe something here. Like right there. And then maybe something here, but that might actually be hollow, now that I think about it. So that's really all I possibly see on the front. We don't have any other angles, unfortunately. So we're going to have to do with what we got on the front. But let's flip it over. And let's look at the back. Man, I'm like really squinting. My eyes are going to be awful after this. Okay, so centering on the back looks really good. Let's look at the top right corner and not put a ding across it. Thank you guys for liking the live, by the way. I see you guys. Appreciate you. That top edge looks good. Top left corner looks good. Possible whitening here. I don't know if you guys can see that on stream or not. We have a little bit of whitening, more predominant in this section here, in this section. So we do have that. That's good. Maybe something there. Left edge looks good. Maybe something there. That corner is okay. Right edge looks good. So I checked that already. Now I'm kind of just like looking at the surface of this Umbreon. I missed a spot, eh? So the Pokemon looks good. The Psychic looks good. That energy looks good. So that... You're probably talking about this. Let's see. So bottom left looks good. Go to the right. I am on the right. Next to the one you circled. I don't see anything. If you're talking about this one, that's the only bit of white I see. But aside from that, I think that is everything that I can tell that is noticeable in nature. Okay. So I think that's probably going to be it on the back. So, as a quick rundown, let me see if I still have that one marked. Okay. So now that I'm done squinting, I can kind of talk out loud what I saw in this Umbreon. Sounds good, Poke. Rest well, my friend. Enjoy the meds while you got them. Okay, so this Umbreon. Let's take a look. So the big things that we saw, the corners and the centering looked good on the front. It was really just the Umbreon area itself is what we saw the issues with. So we saw a little bit of something on the chest here. We saw maybe a scratch here. Maybe a scratch here, but they are extremely faint, or they're not there at all. So it's kind of whatever. This one's probably the only one that looks noticeable, or maybe even here now that I'm kind of like zooming in really tight, but that's really a stretch. And maybe even here too. But so far, you know, with those, I would say with the green, if we're just going to consider the green marks for now, I would say we're probably in like a 9 to an 8, more in the 8 than the 9. But that is to be determined. So when we flip it over, that corner's good, that top edge looks good, that top left corner looks good. Seems like this holo has had card cleaner on it. It seems like it has something on it. Because I don't know, I can't really put my finger on all those like little spots. But this one definitely has some whitening on that left side. So we're probably within that, like, and that's just like something stuck on the edge. And I think these two bits of whitening, I think you just wipe that off with, again, with just a microfiber cloth. Because those just looks like cardstock kind of stuck onto it. That one and that one there. So that edge looks good. So yeah, so I would say, so I don't think it would 10. I don't think it would 9. Even though it'd be close, I don't think it would 9. I don't think it's light play or worse. So we're right now, my thoughts are kind of bouncing between a 7 or an 8 is really kind of where I'm going with this one specifically. I want to say it's because it's really hard. I wish I had a few other angles, but again, we kind of have to work with what we got. We only have this one head-on angle. So the green looks to me more so scratches than not. So we have something here on the chest, something here above this green line, something here within this rectangle, and something here within this clock tower. In addition, we have the whitening on the back on this, predominantly on this back left side. Marked in these two green circles are the more predominant ones, but this section's more notable overall. So I would say depending on the severity of this section too, you're probably leaning more towards a 7. But I think just due to the fact that I'm so unsure with what I've circled in green, I kind of want to say more of an 8. But this one's really tough. I think I would want more angles of this one, to be quite honest with you, because the stuff I have even highlighted in like the orange rectangles might be scratches, and if they are, that'd mean more towards a 7 if I saw it in person. So that's probably going to be my assessment of this Umbreon. So again, why do I think this Umbreon specifically would get a PSA 7 or an 8? So with what we're seeing right now, the things marked in green are the scratches that I kind of see hopefully being more strong. So with that, you know, there's not a lot of scratches on the front. The centering and the corners are actually really good, but it's really on the back. We kind of really, the only thing that I see is just this section right here with these two being bits of whitening. But again, it's a little bit hard because it's a little bit saturated. But I'd probably lean more towards an 8. And then the things that I have circled here can be just wiped off with a microfiber. However, if I had more angles and I saw some of the depth and some of the other perspectives of the lighting hitting the hollow specifically, the things that I have highlighted in orange, to me, look like scratches, very, very faint. But I would feel like they'd pop out more if we had more of an angle and more lighting, which would then result in a 7 if those were more predominant or actually there. So that's why I'm kind of between an 8 or a 7. It's really just like a combination of lighting and not having enough information to really have a solid one or the other. So that's kind of why I'm kind of ranging between an 8 or a 7 for this Umbreon. So I'll have to reach out to Civic to see what that actually came back as. I'm actually going to respond to him now. So just went through this grade. We're thinking between 7 or 8. The hollow had some issues that we couldn't pin down because of lighting and lack of other angles. Oh, well there you go, Civic. I just messaged you. So did you say that this card had a was submitted? I think you did, right? I think you said that this card was submitted by your friend, and you're wondering what it came back as. So basically, if you weren't here, yeah. So if you weren't here, the prediction was between a 7 or an 8. The things in green were more of like I'm more confident that those are present, like the thing on the chest of the Umbreon, potential scratch down here by the tail and by the clock tower, and the things in orange looked faint, but didn't really know because a lack of angles and whatever. Almost all those marks on the hollow was dust. Okay. So that was really what we thought were scratches. And then the back was just on this top left side, was what appeared to be whitening on this top left side, with those two dots being more predominant. So that's kind of where we're at. So if you have the grade, let us know. We'd love to know what it is. But that's kind of where our assessment was based off of those two pictures. The mark on the chest was stuck to it, but it came off. Perfect. Yeah, then if that was all dust, man, like your friend is definitely bumping that grade up, in my opinion. But it's really just this. Then it's really just the back was really what the most of the issue was here. Beckett 8.5'd it. Gotcha. I wonder if it was more because of the back that they were really heavy on. But I don't know. I forgot you said that you submitted it to Beckett. 8.5, huh? PSA 7 or lower. Gotcha. Yeah, I'd say probably the only thing that they probably were fixated on was that back, maybe. They 9.5 the edges. Really? I don't know. If they've 9.5 the edges with that back, if that was present, what would they? Because you said they obviously sound like they had subgrades. What were the other subgrades? What was the one that brought it down? Corners got an 8? That's so weird. So Kanan, here's your Blastoise you've been patiently waiting for. Surface was 9, centering 8.5. Corners got an 8. Jeez. Huh. Well, that is something. All right. So the Blastoise. Guys, if you want a good example on how to take pictures of your cards, this looks like a scan to me, but this is perfect. This is how you should do it. I know not everyone has a scanner, But this looks like a scanned card. So this one's pretty sharp. So let's take a look. So centering is good. Oh, this is gonna be so nice. I feel like you're kind of spoiling me here, Can. You're definitely spoiling me for sure. So the front. So that top corner looks good. Top edge looks good. Bottom left corner looks good. That left edge looks good. That corner looks good. Bottom corner looks good. Or bottom edge looks good. Bottom corner looks good. That right edge looks good. So now the hollow. Maybe a little bit of dust there. Or that might actually just be like a perspective of the hollow, but the text looks good. There's no, like, from what I can see, there's no like major scratches in the text area, which is very common in this time. And then you have a angle here of another perspective. So that looks like a little bit of looks like an ink splotch there in this section. I don't know why I didn't highlight that before, but let's see. Maybe something here? And then the back. This had card cleaner on it? You think so? I do see here, though. Sometimes it gives me issues when I zoom in. Because when I zoom in, because I'm basically taking a screenshot, so I don't get that detail when I zoom in more. Let's see. But now that I did have a little bit of, appears to be a scratch there. Let's see. I'm kind of like going back and forth between your scan and my quick screenshot. Maybe a print line there. And by the hand. So if I go back to my snipping tool here, so it was like somewhere here. And then the other one was by the foot. So like here might be a print line. Sorry, I'm kind of like bouncing back and forth between your actual scan and my snipping tool, because I lose a little bit of that zoom when I go back to my snipping tool. So a little bit near that cannon. We kind of look right here. So that would be like, actually probably just do this. So like right here in that section. And then on the back, do I have one of the back? I do not. So let's take a picture of the back real quick. So the back centering looks good. And then the top right looks good. Top edge looks good. Top left corner looks good. That looks good. Maybe something dirt right there. Or like right here. Perfect. Whitening here. Whitening there. Whitening on the bottom. Whitening on the bottom there. Possible dirt there. Some whitening there. There. If you want to take good pics, Google has an app called PhotoScan. Works on both Android and iOS. Nice. I'll have to actually take a look at that. And possible whitening here in that section. That's lint near the P on the back. This right here? Okay. So that is lint. Okay. So let's kind of work our way backwards here, just so I can make sure that I have my bearings here. So if I were to look at this card both on the front and the back, the main issues that I have with the front is not the centering, not the corners, not the edges of the front. The front actually looks really clean. It's really just like these minimal scratches here. So we have like, and they're more like in this section near the bottom left than anything. So we have like this here. This is a potential print line above. This is a potential print line above. So right off the bat, we're out of that 10 range for sure. Possibly out of the 9 because of those scratches on the front. Because we have some like ink splotches, especially on this side. And this one, to be quite honest with you, I'm not too sure how much of a ding they would have for something like that. It's the first time I've ever seen one. And it's the first time, you know, I would have even seen something submitted like that to see what it'd get. So we kind of have to give a little bit of a wiggle room on that because I just simply don't know enough. But we do have some other kind of scratches here by the cannon. And as we flip it over, we have a lot more whitening on the back. More specifically, a good range on that top right side, kind of indicated here. Some dirt here on the left, possibly some whitening here on that left edge, and some more whitening on the bottom left corner, and the bottom edge. So, you know, we're kind of, I don't think it would be light play for sure. So, in my opinion, we're kind of ranging again in that 7 to 8 once more. But I'd probably lean this card more towards a strong 7 as opposed to a weak 8. Only because the whitening alone is, you know, would knock it out of that near mid plus range, but I don't think it's so predominant that you would get anything worse. Because the front to me looks really good. I think really the front is kind of what's saving you for the most part. The hollow is really clean because those scratches don't look very deep. But it's just that little bit of whitening, and I think from what I saw here, you can probably clean this up if that's dirt there. And you said that this is gone, this is just fuzz or whatever. Because if I had this listed, you know, I probably wouldn't list it at light play. There's just not enough there for me to warrant that as a light play contender. So in my opinion, I would lean more towards a 7. But yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting if you submit this and see what you get. Because I think, you know, I could also see how people are saying a 6. I definitely get that because people are saying that, you know, grading vintage is a lot harder, so they're much harsher on vintage to get that 6. But what I would say, like why I think your Blastoise would get a PSA 7, just as a recap, is more from the scratches. Now, I will say, one of the things that I will say, that if it does get a 6, it might also be because I don't know enough about how they would grade this like ink issue. Sometimes I see them graded as errors, and sometimes I see them as omitting it because it's an error. But if they do assess that as issues with the surface, then I do believe that a 6 would be warranted. So that's actually a pretty good point. I genuinely don't know, if I'm going to be totally transparent. I don't know how much that ink error or that ink dot will bring your grade down or impact it at all. So it sounds like you're submitting it to PSA. So definitely let us know what this card comes back as, because I would be really interested. So if that does not have an impact, I would probably lean more towards a 7. But if it does and it gets a 6, then that definitely makes more sense. But if it gets worse, then that actually would be helpful to know, knowing that that ink error, that ink dot on the front of the holo actually holds a lot more weight than I anticipated. Because I personally have never submitted a card with an ink error or an ink dot that pronounced on the front of a vintage card before. So you're kind of the test can, to be quite honest with you. But that's kind of my wide range. I know it's kind of like a ballpark, but there's a lot of factors into it that I just don't know enough specifically for what I have highlighted on screen. So if it's not a big impact, probably leaning more towards a 7. But if it does, the 6 or even a 5 might be warranted, but I just don't know enough. But it'd be really cool to see what it comes back as. So I think, yeah, so I think that was the last one for the night. So again, if you guys are new here, if you want to have your card submitted for a future grade review, I'm going to show one last time. So I have a link in my bio. It's going to go to my link tree. Once you're here, you're going to click or tap the Discord icon, which is going to send you to our Discord server. In the Discord server, there's a grade review channel that you can submit your cards to be reviewed on a stream. I do this every Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do it absolutely for free, always will be free. And just submit your cards in there, but do it as soon as possible because I do grade reviews on a first come, first served basis. So the sooner you get your cards submitted, the sooner I get to look at them. However, if you want priority, the Discord does offer a subscription starting at $2.99 a month, which gives you a priority grade review as well as some other cool benefits and perks as well. So that is how you do that. So we have hit the final hour of the stream. I didn't think it would go this long, but there was way more engagement this time around, which was super cool. Had a little bit of a dip there, but we kind of made it back. There's some tweaks, hopefully, that worked in our favor. So yeah, I definitely appreciate it. There's a topic that I was going to cover with selling your cards. I'll probably make that as an actual video because that one I think warrants a little bit more of a breakdown on when to sell your cards. So I'll make sure when I post that I'll share it with you guys as soon as I can, because I still think it's a worthy topic to talk about. But there's a lot of like workflow and diagrams and all this crazy stuff. So yeah, and if you guys are new here, welcome. That's my Pokemon card wall from my childhood. I always like to show it off. And yeah. Do I restore cards? I did so I would do card cleanings. So I wouldn't do anything that adds substance to a card. But I would address things that were added to a card like dirt, grime, thumbprint, stuff like that. I used to do it. I used to offer it. I offer like a promo code to another person that does it really well. That's on my website, which if you go to my link tree, you go to my website, and if you go to support and and you guys can't see what I'm even showing off. So let me just, is it this? Yeah. So if you go to my website, my link tree, if you go to support and then card cleaning, I have a link there. But it's just me. I just do this on the side. So it's getting a little bit too out of hand. So that's why I don't offer it right now. But maybe in the future, I'll reinstate it. But for now, it's kind of on a pause. But that is an option. I also have a store as well on that same page. Have a lot of singles for sale, stuff like that. Because I actually have a show coming up this Sunday that I'm going to be bringing all these cards to. So this is pretty much your last chance to see these before I have to take them down temporarily. So I don't do like the commercial card cleaning anymore. Apple, not because I stopped doing it, but I was starting to run out of time and I was spreading myself pretty thin. So I had to cut back on a few things to make sure that I didn't water down too much of my brand, because it was getting really hard. Like I was falling behind on editing. I was falling behind on content creation and advertising and preparing for shows. It was just getting way too much, so I had to kind of cut back on some stuff. But so basically, I just repoint people to a different location. What's your background on grading cards? Just curious on the background. Been loving the streams. I appreciate that, Cody. Really, my background, to be completely honest with you, I've been doing this since like 2017. One of the things I started, which I was very lucky to have been doing this, was anytime I would submit cards for grading, I would always assess, if I'm submitting this, I think it's going to get an 8 or I think it's going to be a 9. I kept track of what those would be. Because I think it was, I really like the data aspect of it. And so I kind of treated it as like a batting average. So I had like my PSA 10 accuracy, my PSA 9 accuracy, 8, so on and so forth. And every time I was wrong, I kept updating and figuring out why I might have been wrong. And fine-tuning and figuring out and ultimately leading to what you just saw today of all the things that I look for to kind of help you guys out. So it's like a condensed version of all the years that I've been keeping track of my grading process, condensed into a stream, which is where me yapping comes from, if that makes sense. So even like a lot of the cards that you're even seeing on screen that I have for sale, a lot of these I've graded myself, like this Dark Machamp, this Dark Gyarados, the Shining Steelix, the Rosa, Snorlax, Poliwrath. A lot of these I graded myself. When I was like, hey, I think this is going to get X or Y or whatever. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. Does anyone have any other questions before I kind of wrap it up for the night? Well, definitely let us know, man. Definitely brag about it in the collections channel in the Discord. Always love to see what people get and whatever. But like I said, I'm going to be doing a follow-up video on when to sell your cards. I think a lot of people ask me, I have X card, should I sell it? But 20th or 21st. I am at a show. So let's see. Let me go to my Instagram. So these are the shows that I have coming up. So I have, the Albany one finished. So the 7th, so this Sunday I have a show in Syracuse. I have 2 shows in Syracuse back to back. September 7th and October 5th. Then I have one in Plattsburgh. Then I have in November, I have Saratoga. And then December, I have another show in Syracuse. So a lot of New York shows. The farthest west one would be Syracuse. Based off of all the ones I just showed you, the ones that I'm going to, the farthest west in New York is going to be the Syracuse show. I mean, it's like central New York, but it's, based off the other shows, that's the most west one. But yeah. That's gonna be a cool one. That's gonna be at the New York State Fairgrounds, so that'd be kind of cool to see for the first time. I've never been to this one, but I've heard it's a good one. So we shall see. There's a lot of people doing a lot of shows now, so that's one thing that I like. Just kind of if you're gonna be vending, just kind of keep an eye out for. There's a lot of new shows popping up, and I think a lot of people are failing to realize like what actually goes into making a show. Because my personal opinion is when new shows kind of pop up, I think certain places are kind of farming vendors for good cards instead of farming customers, if that makes sense. It's a weird way of saying it, but just stick with the more reputable shows in your area. That's all I'm saying. Just stick to the more reputable ones, because it's really easy to kind of spin up a show and say that you're legit, and not knowing the repercussions of kind of jumping on a new show so quickly, if that makes sense. But that's about it. But all right, guys. Well, I appreciate you all very much. I appreciate all the new followers, the shares, the likes, the subs, all that fun stuff, both on YouTube and TikTok. I really do appreciate all the love and support. And if you guys haven't already, make sure to stick around, follow. Love to see you again. And I got some videos coming up throughout the week. I do have a show this Sunday, so I'm going to take a little bit of a pause for editing, but I will be back on Wednesday, same time here, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, thank you guys so much for all the love and support. It really does mean a lot, and I will catch you in the next one.